welcome to Steven Says See or Skip, and welcome to the August All Access month where every tier gets every episode. Today, we're talking about His, Hers, and Ours, which was released on November 1st, 2025. It is a Lifetime original movie, I believe, and it's part of the Terry McMillan Presents. He has a four film series. This is the third one in the series. And I gotta give it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, the movie's not terrible, but man, it is running on fumes. The premise follows two single parents who clash over how they are raising their kids who happen to be dating, and then, almost immediately, start secretly spending time together. This, of course, blossoms into something more, and eventually they have to decide what's more important, their kids' feelings or a second chance at something special. I'm not going to lie, I feel like uh, keeping this spoiler free is going to be hard to do because I got to criticize the movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is your spoiler alert. But I definitely, you know, it was a solid premise, but the execution on this movie is messy. The look of the movie, I mean, it had decent made for TV lighting. It wasn't special or groundbreaking, but it was serviceable. But I don't feel like it ever like elevates the story. Like sometimes a good shot or a special kind of lighting can really do something to the film you're watching. This didn't have that. There were a couple good songs sprinkled in, but the transitional score, the instrumental stuff was, I thought, extremely limited. I did wonder if maybe they were trying to save some money here to spend it somewhere else, but if they were, I don't think it was on sets or costumes. Everything felt sparse. Some of the costumes looked like they'd been borrowed from other productions. The sets don't feel lived in. Everything was like a placeholder. Like the movie was waiting for someone to come in and finish dressing the space. But the real issue is the script, the story. The script tries to establish a rivalry between these two parents who are protective of their kids, but it disappears almost instantly. They go from clashing to dating so fast, nothing feels real or earned. And the dialogue that these parents have with their kids, everything is not believable. It feels weird and clunky. Honestly, it felt like parts of the movie were missing. It felt like maybe there were supposed to be some additional scenes to kind of help us transition as these things were changing. Because these scenes jump so much that there's no emotional continuity, and you kind of have to be like, oh, they're fighting. Oh, now they're friends. Oh, now they're dating. Oh, now they're breaking up for the greater good for their kids. Oh, now the kids are deciding their parents' happiness matters more. Oh, like everything was happening so fast, but there wasn't a lot of development. And the movie ends with a time jump to show a book cover that everything has worked out happily ever after, but everything's so rushed. It felt thin. It's not satisfying. Now, the cast, I think they're doing the best they can. Ty Diggs and Leslie Ann Brandt actually have great chemistry together. When they're kissing, you can feel their heat and attraction for one another. And, when they're doing other stuff, everything felt very natural and real. And because it was a Lifetime original movie, it was shot very tastefully. So you know what's going on, but it's not like in your face or gratuitous, which I can appreciate. Ami Garcia plays a stereotype rather than a person, but with her limited screen time, maybe that's the best. It wasn't a super long movie, about an hour and a half, and so there's only so much you can do with so many characters. Tyler Lofton and Chloe Flowers have these great emotional expressive faces, and you can kind of feel what their character's going through, and they're cute. They've got this great little energy to them, but I think that their dialogue that they're given is rough. It's not their fault. They're working with the script they've got. But I don't know, it makes it hard to connect with them when they're speaking in a way that's like, people don't talk like that. And then Juanita Jennings, she felt more like a plot device than a person. She shows up, gives a 2-minute pep talk, and suddenly characters are changing their direction. I don't think it's her fault, it's the writing. I wouldn't recast anyone. This group did the best they could with the script they had, and there's only so much an actor can do when the story is incomplete. I don't know. When it comes to a favorite moment, I'm not sure that I had one. I mean, okay, I did laugh at the argument that a grand opening is like sex. I think the joke could have been worded better, but it did make me chuckle. I did think it was very cute that both of the kids want to go to Howard University. That's something that kind of high school romance encourages. Of course, we're meant to be together. We want to go to the same college. And does anyone actually call their parent a Philistine anymore? And does it make any sense to call them that when they're criticizing your love life? The word's supposed to be about not valuing art, music, and intellectual things, and it's not about romance. I mean, they do use it to talk about being closed minded, but I don't think you need to be yelling at your parents to be open minded about your dating life, right? I mean, I don't think they're doing anything that would require an open mind. It just, a parent has to accept the kid's growing up. There's a line about better to ask forgiveness than permission, which I think is something a lot of adults do, especially in the workplace. But I did wonder if that's really a lesson we want teenagers to be absorbing. There was a fun NCI reference, and there was some fun product placement for Velveeta for instant potatoes and bagel bites. Shout out to Silver, my college bestie. What? And I'm guessing these products helped pay for the film. They certainly had their logo displayed. I would like to get a therapist's take on these characters. I do think they're all trying their best and they're very goal oriented, but emotionally, I don't know. I worry about how they handle their past and how quickly they're jumping into new dynamics. The movie does open with a coffee shop that has a "We are a dog friendly" sign, and then we see zero dogs. Later, someone walks in sad and says the line, "Oh, it looks like his dog died." But he never owns a dog, so it's just an analogy on sadness. It's just odd for there to be these kind of positive dog images, but not actually have a puppers show up in the movie. I don't know. Maybe it's expensive to have a dog in a movie. I don't know. I don't know what the cost on that is. In terms of the content, there is sex, actually a decent amount of it, but it's all done in a somewhat tasteful manner. They talk about birth control, which was picked up by grandma. Naughty, naughty. Can you believe that? There's alcohol. I mean, the man distills his own bourbon. And then, of course, blames his decisions on it. That's mature. But no real violence, not much drug content. So, depending on how you feel about stuff. In terms of who should watch this, I don't know. I felt like it was mindless junk that you might watch when you're in your 20s and you're hungover, stuck at home with nothing better to do. I wouldn't let kids or teens watch this. I don't want them to think that this is how relationships work or that these are appropriate ways to deal with things. I did think it was cool that both Leslie Ann Brandt and Ami Garcia worked together on the TV show Lucifer, which the Lord of the Land, who was watching this movie with me, noticed himself. In terms of my final verdict, I gotta say, skip it. I'm giving his, hers, and ours a 4 out of 10. This is Steven with Steven Says See or Skip asking, does a rushed romance create urgency, or does it just feel like a mess you can't understand or relate to? Let me know what you think in the comments below.